Good day, everyone. And on screen with me here for our Big West Women's Volleyball preview is first-year head coach of UC Riverside for the Highlanders. That's Branden Higa. Branden, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, I've got to ask you the first question that really stuck out for me personally, but it seems like you start in California, would jump out to another state, come back to California, go back to another state, and come back and find your home here for the last few years since 2012. But you have quite the coaching resume. How did you find your way to these different spots around the nation and making it back to California?
Yeah, well, it's so much about who you know and the network that you build. I've been really fortunate to have some really good mentors and friends that helped me along the way. And so when I started my volleyball journey, I knew that if I wanted to get to a higher level, I would likely have to leave Southern California. And I was able to get a couple of great opportunities, one at Lipscomb University, one at Mississippi State University, and then ultimately getting back here to SoCal, obviously the last 13 years here in Riverside, and then now getting this job at UCR, which has been awesome. But yeah, it was a lot about being in the right place at the right time and having the right people on my side. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've come across anyone who's literally moved within a few minute drive of their previous gig. But how's that transition going to be like for you coming from CBU to UC Riverside?
Well, it's a total blessing to be able to remain coaching and not have to move. And so the transition, the change is not much. It's just I take a different path to work today than I did a couple months ago. But it's been a really smooth, really seamless transition. The support here has been awesome, and really the hunger of the players to get better and to embrace new things has been phenomenal. So from the staff to the admin here, but especially to the players, they've made things really, really easy and really simple to get acclimated and to get up and running. So I couldn't be more excited, and I know it's just such a huge blessing to not have to uproot and move in order to start a new job.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, you come in at a time where you're one of three new head coaches, and if you go with the second-year coaches, that goes to like almost half the conference is pretty much new coaches. But what do you see as an upcoming challenge for you coming in as a first-year coach to the Big West?
Yeah, I think to me the challenge, a lot of it lies within what we're doing here in our program. And the challenge, they're similar when you take over any program. It's how do you get the culture to what you believe is the right way to do things? How do you build a winning culture? How do you build one that supports and lifts up your student athletes? And so for year one, that's the primary focus is how are me and my staff going to get these student athletes better and move forward as volleyball players and as students and as members of the community. And so challenge number one is always building culture and building your program. And that starts at home. In terms of competition throughout the Big West, yeah, we're going to go out, we're going to compete really, really hard, and we expect to win. And so, but the real challenge is, I think, starts here and building our players, pouring into them, and trying to get them as good as possible, as quickly as possible, while also building for the long-term health and future of our program from a cultural standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Now, although you weren't with the Highlanders last season, what are your impressions of the 2024 season, and what are some key takeaways you've got from that last season?
Well, it was a tremendous season here at UCR. Signature wins all over the place. My first impression of the team was they were very in tune with what they wanted to do culturally in the gym. And that was one of the things that I was most impressed by from the 2024 Highlanders. Their ability to fight and battle and scrap. I think that's always been part of the UCR identity. But they kind of took it to another level and played with just a lot of pride and cohesion. So yeah, I think it was a really great year by them, really impressive year. And just looking forward to building on that, honestly.
Yeah. Well, how's the transition been for you? I believe you're hired in a time where you saw a little bit of them in the spring, but what has it been like, and what have you observed based on what you've seen coming in the spring and now here early into the fall?
Yeah, well, the transition has been good. What I've seen from our team is just a real hunger to learn and embrace some new concepts and new techniques, and things that I think will help make us successful. Really, as a coach, that's what you want. You want players that are coachable, that are open, and are just willing to go for it and give it a shot and buy in. I think we have some good talent in the gym, and I think we have a ton of players who play with a lot of heart and care a lot about our program. And that's the other side of it, is that I've been really impressed by our alumni base and how active they have been, how much pride they have in their program and what they've built. And I just love coming to a place like that that's got a deep history of volleyball. I've got 3 national championship trophies right behind me, and that's rare. So I fully respect and love what this program has been about for the numerous women that have come through and that have built this. The team has been awesome to work with, and they're hungry, they're ready, and we're excited to get going.
Well, as you mentioned, UC Riverside had some signature wins last season, and 3 pieces of that, have graduated or moved on. But let's focus on the key returners here in 2025. Can you share a little bit about who you've got coming back and what roles they could be playing for your Highlander team?
Yeah. So it probably starts with Jessica Dean. She's a libero here. She led the Big West in digs. And she's kind of been the motor in leading us on the defensive side. Plays with a ton of energy, the competitiveness, the fire, the caring for other players, like just everything you want in a libero. She's embodied, and she's excited to have a better year coming up. So I think it starts there. We have Sophie
Olefo.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Sophie Olefo, and we'll cut that part too. Next up, we have Sophie Olefo. One more time. Next up, we have Sophie Olefo. She's an outside hitter, 6-row player. She really, really impressed me in the spring, just with her competitiveness and her ability to play the game. She plays at a really, really high level. And I think thinking strategically and just her ability to score in a bunch of different ways is going to be really critical for us. A couple other seniors that we have, McKenna Tong is our setter. She's really experienced, and I'm really excited for what she did in the spring. She's coming into her own as a player, and I think this year is going to be her best year of her career. Layla Hooks is another one that's going to play a key role. She's a middle blocker for us, and just a really hardworking, gritty competitor, hungry to block balls and to make a difference in the middle. So we look to our group of seniors and upperclassmen to kind of lead us through this and help establish what UCR volleyball is going to be in the future.
I wanted to take a look at the newer faces that you've got who could be playing a significant role for the starting lineup for the Highlanders here in 2025.
Yeah, we have several newcomers, starting with Mackenzie Bettis. She actually came in the spring. She graduated early, came in the spring. She's an outside hitter from Utah. Really great 6-row kid. that has already been with us and already made an impact. She can pass, defend, and attack. The next person we have coming in, Rachel Schwartz, is a setter out of Las Vegas. She's had a ton of incredible experience, has run a 5-1 for a couple of years, but is a really, really high level and I think very prepared setter out of high school. And then we've got a group of transfers that we're able to get. Evelyn Hendricks is from St. Mary's. She played on that Gales team last year and is transferring in. She's a 6'2" middle blocker who's got some really good experience. Kylie Proctor is another middle that transferred in. She's actually an NAIA transfer, and she came from Life Pacific, but she's very physical, very experienced. And then finally, we have Vanessa Emo, who is a transfer from the University of North Dakota, Southern California kid coming back home. And she made all freshman team in her conference last year. So just a big physical presence on the right side. So yeah, right now we think all of those players have a chance to compete for a spot and contribute.
Wow. Well, I wanted to get your thoughts on now the direction of the Big West expanding with the addition of Sacramento State, Utah Valley, and of course now going to be in the same conference, CBU.
Yeah. Well, it's a great move by the Big West. And one of the cool things about being in a conference like this, you want to be in a conference that is going the right way and that is expanding in our ever-changing world of NCAA athletics. So the conference, it's healthy, it's growing. All of those schools have a volleyball tradition that they bring to the Big West. So they will make the Big West stronger in the sport of volleyball. And it was a great get from a geographic standpoint, but also a bunch of great gets for the sport of volleyball and what we're doing here. So I love it. I think it's going to be highly, highly competitive, which is what you come to expect from our conference.
And then final two questions for you, Branden. What do you think we can see competition-wise here in the Big West in 2025?
I think it's going to be packed. I mean, looking at last year's standings, it was close from top to bottom. And so I expect more of the same, with a couple teams leaving, wanting to go out on top, and then a bunch of teams that are hungry to improve. I do know a lot of the key players in the conference have graduated or left. So I do think there's a little bit of a sense to me that it's wide open and that there can be some big jumps in how people finish. So expecting, as usual, a really competitive, really great year for the Big West.
Well, I always like to end with this question here. It kind of puts the coach on the spot, but do you have a only the bold Big West prediction here in the 2025 season in volleyball?
Yeah, I've got two of them. Number one, the Big West gets 2 into the NCAA tournament this year, so somehow we find a way to our at-large. Number 2, UCR makes the conference tournament. So those are my 2 predictions. Let's go. Let's make this happen, Big West.
Excellent. That's Branden Higa, first-year head coach of UC Riverside, representing the Highlanders here in 2025. Great to have you on today, Branden.
Rob, thanks a lot.